keep following that curiosity. The only reason I stayed was because of the community.
Especially in the crypto world, it's sometimes misleading. A lot of people pulling scams.
And the main thing is like, is it going to improve my experience?
Hey, welcome to AulAccess. Whether it be new people, new technology, or just anything you want to know, you got all access to it right here. Today, we got the main person, the spotlight, Presence. How are we doing today?
Hello, I'm doing okay. It's really cold. I've got like this heater under me, just like warming me up at the moment. So yeah, I'm good. I'm ready.
A little space heater. Yeah, I got you. So, Presence, give a quick intro about yourself, who you are. 2 to 3 minutes of like, hey, who's Presence? What do you do, and how do you operate in this blockchain Web3 space?
Sure. So I started calling myself a portfolio careerist because I'm someone where I always like to do a lot of different things and I don't like putting myself in a box. I'm someone where if I can add value to a project in a personal capacity or from my team, then I will go and do it. So in the Web3 space, I also help founders in the AI and fintech and gaming space. And what we do is we support founders in growing and scaling their business, but also with the fundraising element. The main thing that we've seen is that, we all know, sorry, I'm a bit sick today. We all know that in the startup space, 90% plus startups fail. That's like a general statistic. It's been there for a long time. And we also know that 3 out of 4 funded companies fail as well. Even if they get money from VCs, they still end up failing. So this is telling us that there is a really big problem when it comes to building startups in general. And after the SVB crash, my partners sit with LPs and family offices, and they said that they're not really interested to invest in VCs anymore. They've lost confidence in the venture capital space. So a new standard is required to really kind of, improve this. So this is when my partners and I we started building out venture studios. So a venture studio is basically a company, an investment vehicle that supports both the investors and the founders. The investors trust us to invest in companies. Founders trust us to help them build with them. So we've got a really strong track record with my partners. They've built some really great companies and they know how to support founders, especially first-time founders where they don't exactly know how to allocate the money efficiently. They have never done the fundraising before. They've never built a company before. So, they're the people that, if they partner with experienced experts who've built companies again and again in the blockchain space, then they're a lot more likely to succeed. And if they win, the investors win, we win. So it's a much more logical, efficient, better way to build businesses and startups. And if we look at the future, Google, Facebook, all these big companies that are running the world today, they all started as startups. So it's really important where the world is going, with AI, with Web3, that we have solid startups coming and that money is used efficiently as well. And so yeah, that's what we do. Oh, and
So,
also
so for
sorry,
your
one thing. So because I do a lot of different things, that's one thing. And then we've got like an events company, and then I focus. So I've got two like. I used to work at, well, I still work at a venture studio called Borderless Blockchain Alliance, and we are just what I said. And I also have my own venture studio called Elevate, and we focus on young founders. So for young founders under 26, because from my experience of building my own startup and then, it not working out and then finding people, building up this venture studio, I believe that there is a really strong power when it comes to combining forces with a Gen Z young founder startup and experienced A-star team. And I know the challenges that young founders have to overcome to build their startup, and they have more challenges, I would say, than someone who has, years of experience and stuff like that. So we kind of, my focus is more on that region and that area as well. So sorry, it was a bit of a long intro.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, for your venture studio, right? For both cases, is it primarily just in the Web3 blockchain space, or is it just holistically just
So
general kind of venture
Web3,
studio?
AI, fintech, gaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So, I guess evidently, then you and your partners would know how to build a successful company that would, at the end of the day, what does the company do? It caters to its consumers. It helps with the consumer experience. So, I guess from that perspective, right? What are some what are some very significant benefits consumers can really get from engaging with Web3 technologies?
Well, I would say that if I wasn't in working in the Web3 space, I was just like a normal person, I wouldn't care what technology is used. It's kind of like if you have a website, would you care what code it's built on? Not really.
Hmm.
And the main thing is like, is it going to improve my experience? So usually when it comes to like Web3 and blockchain, what it is that it's more secure. So to give a really simple example of how I fell into the space, or what got me interested, was the concept of NFTs in the ticketing industry. If you look at the ticketing industry, over 12 million, I think, from the stat I've remembered like ages ago, over 12 million of fraud is like, like money lost a year from just fake tickets. So with NFTs, they're on the blockchain, and you like it's authentic. There's only one of a kind. You can't fake it, so it's like you immediately remove that problem of fraud in the NFT ticketing space if the ticket was an NFT. I know this explanation is really bad, so apologies if I didn't explain it well. But like the benefits of Web3, I see it's like speed, security, privacy, transparency, ownership of control. Also, we've got so many different, like Web3 is the term, but then you've got GameFi, you've got DeFi, you've got the metaverse, you've got NFTs, and each one goes into something different. So, because I'm sorry, I didn't plan this podcast. So,
No, you're
in
good.
a way, the benefits for a consumer, it depends on what your what it is that it's for. So for example, for decentralized finance, is about banking the unbanked. When it comes to gaming, you might play a game and you have like your Minecraft, where you build all this world, this big world, but you don't own the world. So some gaming projects, you can have tokens that you can use to buy and rent these assets, with crypto, which you can't do in a non Web3 game. Or like when it comes to like the metaverse, you're going to see more immersive experiences that like for example the Facebook Quest, you put it on, and you're like in a different world. You've got like three screens in front of you you can work, as opposed to just like the one laptop. So there's a lot in the Web3 space, and because touch I talk to the founders
Mm.
that do all of it. That when you ask me that question, my mind just goes like this box just goes like, oh, where should I start? But I wouldn't care about like, yeah, as a consumer, I would just care about like what is this product doing? How is it going to help me? If it's better, is blockchain technology making this more secure, faster? Like less likely for me to get scammed or get something fake. I can give one example before we go to the next question. Is I was talking to a project a few days ago. It's a diamond marketplace, and what they do is they tokenize diamonds. So essentially, a lot of people who buy diamonds, they might buy it for like a wedding ring or something, but a lot of people buy it and then like just keep it there, so for the value to increase and like sell it later. And so what they do is they tokenize the diamond. People can buy the diamond, and instead of getting the physical diamond, they get the NFT, and they can keep like transferring this NFT, like selling it for a higher price until the owner of that NFT is ready to actually get the real diamond, and then it will be shipped to you. But before that happens, you just get the NFT, which for a lot of people, it's more convenient because it's the diamond is securely stored. You're not using it for anything. You're just putting it there for maybe like investment purposes. So tokenizing real world assets is something that we're going to see a lot in the future as well, when it comes to real estate and diamonds, watches, and stuff like that. So that's one example. I hope that kind of explained. And also, it goes through a verification process where it proves that the diamond is real and high quality as well, and that information is stored in the NFT.
No, that's great actually. I that's that's actually really really cool. So you can, so for the conversation that you had, you're starting to see people, or you're starting to see people start creating tokenization for real world assets. How long do you think it would take for us to start really kind of utilizing that in a grand scheme, right? Um,
Not, I don't think far. I mean, it's already being like there are already lots of companies that are tokenizing real world assets, and it's people are already buying these diamonds. They sold out. It's like the largest platform.
Oh, okay.
And when it comes to like real like what do you call it? Property.
Hmm.
Property, it's happening. There's a project called, I forgot what it was called, but essentially it's to help people invest in real estate. So instead of buying a whole like flat, for example, the flat is tokenized into, you have tokens for the flat. Anyone can invest to buy those tokens, and when someone pays rent, that rent is distributed to the token holders. So
Hmm.
it's really interesting to see how tokenizing real world assets is affecting, different people's lives. But yeah, I don't think it's too long. Basically, is the answer. We're seeing companies do this like every single day.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I guess you kind of touched upon a point when you were talking about just Web3 in general. Communities. What are some key factors consumers should consider when engaging with Web3 communities? I know you mentioned trust and transparency and security. Um, what are some other key factors that you think for when people want to start getting engaged in this space?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's the thing I loved about Web3 when I first joined was the community, and the only reason I stayed was because of the community as well. I started doing events. I was building another startup. I was building an NFT rental startup when I first found this space, and I was organizing monthly events on the side just because I kind of felt a bit like out of place being the only student at the time in these events, and started doing Gen Z Web3 events. And that was kind of how I learned more about the space, actually, because the more events I went to and the more events I did, I got to talk to people in the space. I got to ask them questions directly, and I think the Web3 space is very welcoming. As well, like everyone, especially in the first bull run during like 20, yeah, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, everyone was getting into the space. Everyone was kind of new, but we've got some like great experts, and everyone was very welcoming to educate each other on it. So I think like if you find the space intimidating and you want to learn more, but you kind of find the YouTube videos really boring or the online articles, boring and you can't read it, I would say go to an event, immerse yourself in like, conversations, debates, talks, and naturally you kind of get that Web3 energy. I would say it will catch to you, and then you'll be like, oh, what's this, what's that? Because it is a really big world out there, I think, in the Web3 space. And there is, like I said, there's the metaverse, there's DeFi, there's GameFi, there's tokenizing real world assets, there's normal investing in crypto, and it's like there's so much. So there's also DAOs, which people don't really talk about now, but like,
Hmm.
yeah, there's just so much. And on one hand, it's like very exciting. On the other hand, it's very overwhelming. So I think the community, meeting people who are further ahead than you in the journey, which I'm still doing today, and learning from them and understanding how they do things, what they invest in, what projects they're aware of, is gonna definitely support you in your journey. And I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it was perfect. It was perfect. I was actually you actually touched upon a question I was going to ask you after this. Actually, was events, right?
Mm,
It's you mentioned how that's a really good way to start getting more information and start, I
mm,
guess, like demystifying the space. Yeah, I guess what should people really look for in terms of going for events? Like, when it comes to information, right? Out there in the internet, like you said, it could be either boring or it's just not as easily digestible, or it could be like in the crypto sense, especially in the crypto world, it's sometimes misleading. A lot of people pulling scams or just doing things they really shouldn't be doing. So how can people start discerning what kind of avenue to take? Well, what like their BS meter? Uh,
that's a really good question, because I agree. There was the first year I literally went to every single event. Now I
uh
barely go to events. Either I organize
okay,
my own event,
yeah.
or it has to be something like really really special to go to, because I
Hmm.
think you will see events where it's just like crypto bros going partying, drinking.
Yeah.
There's literally no real conversation at all. And then there are also events that are very, high, like big, but like really expensive. So if you're just starting out, I wouldn't go to either of them. If it mentions anything about parties, if it's in a nightclub, I would probably avoid it because you won't really get any real conversation from that. If it's like a conference and, it's probably like £500 plus per ticket, up to you. I think that there are definitely free events, free community events with really valuable speakers to attend, and it's very chill, very relaxed. You get both the networking side and like a small group, talking. So I would mainly look at the speakers, I would say, and also where it's located, and if you're getting sense it's trying to take your money or trying to just make you drunk. There is the middle ground, and it's quite easy to tell, I would say, from the speakers. And for us, like when we do our own events, we like to reverse engineer it. Because oftentimes, why do people go to events? Maybe they go to an event because they want to educate themselves, or they want to find business, or they want to collaborate. There is always a reason. So I think first off is identifying why do you want to go to an event, what do you want to get out of the event, and then looking at what the event is about and seeing do you think you're gonna get, like, do you want to get what you want out of it. The other thing is you can do your own event. It's really easy to organize your own meetup, and you can literally say, okay, this is what I want from the event. This is the kind of people that I want to meet. I'm gonna whip up something on Eventbrite. That's kind of how I started. It was like there's nothing out there. There's no event out there that I want to go to. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go on Eventbrite. I'm going to do a Gen Z Web3 meetup. I'm going to just message a bunch of Gen Zs. I'm going to message a bunch of speakers that I want to speak to. I'm going to ask, are they willing to speak? Which oftentimes in the Web3 space, you will find, people that are very, open to doing something like this because they want to also share, more about Web3 themselves. And then you also find, if you're interested to learn something, there's going to be other people interested to learn about it as well. So you'll find those people who want to join, and voila, you've got your own event, which is tailored towards what you want to learn and who you want to meet. So that's the best way, I would say. And you can do it anywhere. I literally started doing it in like, let's go to Franco Manca and get pizza and talk. So.
So
And then it became a 200 event Gen Z Web3 Dragon's Den event.
oh wow,
So,
okay. So
yeah.
so I guess then speak more on Elevate, right? And your own events. What's the main goal for it? And it sounds like it's something that's not trying to get through the BS of what I talked about earlier of, the crypto bros trying to party all night, and the people who are overpricing, not overpricing, I should say, but having high ticket items to get into certain events. Are you looking to create a sort of middle ground for the average consumer, whether it be completely green or just, really invest in this space but wants to further develop it?
Yeah, so we did an event in London, Level 39. It's like a really amazing, like crazy, beautiful place. We did it for
Mm.
free. We invited really top speakers from like the UN, the Metaverse Institute, some really
Oh, awesome. Okay.
great people. And the event was for free as well. But next time we're going to start charging because it was an investment. But like for us, we're kind of more like behind the scenes with the founders. The founder has the company, they're growing it, and we're usually behind the scenes supporting the founders, giving them access to the investment, the resources, the things that they're missing to build their company. So when we do events, we more target like founders and investors. And
Mm.
what we want to educate people on is just how the traditional venture capital model isn't the most efficient way to building businesses, and that we are trying to establish a new standard, which is a lot more collaborative. Web3 is all about collaboration, especially in the first bull market. What I was seeing was a lot of early stage founders coming together, supporting each other with what they have, with the resources they have, because at the time it was really hard to find blockchain developers. When I was building my first startup, I remember I had like a founder friend, and he was like, oh, if you need my blockchain developers for a project, just like let me I'm willing to help you, and then you can help me with
Awesome.
doing events, like stuff like that. So it was very collaborative, and it's kind of how we believe it's just more efficient to build businesses when if we sit on a lot of different companies, we understand how they can work together, how they can help each other. And if we work with, great people who already have this track record of building in the space and they're on our team, we can give the founder access to, just a group of the best to help them build their companies with them. So it makes a lot more sense to be both the investor and the builder for a company. And it's a very logical reason as well. All we need to do is look at the incentives. So, an incentive for a VC or for an investor is just to get their return on the investment. And then and then you have the founder who wants to build a company. And then you've got like these third party, agencies or, services that just want to get your money. So you might get a developer agency come to a founder and say, oh, I'm going to help you build out this tech. They say it's going to cost like 300K and it's going to, I don't know, it's just making up the numbers, but it's going to cost 300K. It's going to take 3 months, maybe not that long, and then they end up but actually it takes like, 2 weeks and like much less. So when it comes to like the incentives, like for us, if we're supporting the founder and investing the money, if we've got stake in the company, if we're giving you the team the access to all this stuff, we want to make sure that we help you build your company in the most efficient way possible and achieve the outcome as quickly as possible. So we're all about minimizing costs, maximizing efficiency, and getting the real outcome, generating real revenue, because we are incentivized to do that based on how our model is. So that immediately just makes us a way better partner for founders in the Web3 AI gaming space compared to like a traditional VC or other kind of partners that don't like just provide like services. So that's kind of how we work. And there was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot.
It's all right. Well, if you remember, just
Yeah.
interrupt me anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, you kind of touched upon another point I want to bring up on, and I've seen some of your LinkedIn posts about mentorship. Not even on the business sense, but on the personal side of either learning more about the space or even just general, right? Like, what role does mentorship play in helping consumers navigate the Web3 space?
A huge component, I think, in life in general. I think everyone should find a mentor, and how I see it is just finding people who are way ahead of you. Even when it comes to, I'm sorry, I always like link it to building like a startup. I think it applies to both, as an average consumer and also as a startup founder. It's like, as a startup founder, if there's someone who's built multiple $1 million companies before, I'm going to want to see how I can work with this person, how I can collaborate with this person, how I can get him involved with my stuff, how I can get involved with his stuff or her stuff, so that we can so that I can learn as much as I can and grow with this person. And it's the same as a consumer. It's like you want to find people who are aware of all the Web3 companies out there, how they work, aware of all the crypto tokens and stuff, and how they work, what's doing well. And you want to see, when I'm investing, can I do it with you? Or like when I'm trying out different projects, can I do it with you? What projects are you checking out? Like, what events are you going to? I trust you because you've already obviously done this for a long time. So like, how can I be closer proximity to you and start doing stuff with you? So that's kind of basically mentorship, right? So I think it's definitely very important. It's like if you wanna get fit and be a pro in Pilates, you would want to find someone who's really good at Pilates,
Yeah.
and try to see, can I work out with you like every week and I understand how you move and stuff like that. So it's the same in every single topic, and this topic as well.
So I guess one thing that I personally try to struggle with, maybe people also out there also struggle with this. Sometimes these kind of people are kind of hard to access or kind of hard to
Mm.
get their time. In your scenario, right? How did you manage to find your mentors? Was it just through like a value exchange? Was this through just a simple ask? Like how did you go about your process?
That's a good question. It was a long process. Well, I would say
Yeah.
I started with zero connections. I didn't know
Hmm.
any. I was studying economics, and the reason why I had to go out of uni was because there wasn't anything about Web3 at university that I could learn about, so I had to go out. So yeah, no network. I had an idea for a startup. I had no idea how I was actually going to build it. Web3 knowledge was like bare minimum. And then now I work with the best in the space and have a lot more experience in a short space of time. And I think the main thing that I've learned is that no matter who you are, you have value that you can offer to the world. There's always, understand what your strength is, understand what you can do for people, and go out and see how you can serve. It's a very simple thing, and I would say is that when you can help other people, naturally they would want to help you back. And I think for me, I did this naturally, being unaware of me doing events, trying to solve my problem of meeting more people, ended up helping to solve other people's problems of trying to meet more people. And doing this again and again and again, people start to like value you, and they start to ask you, oh, can you help me with this, can you help me with that, do you know someone who does this, someone with that. And if you're willing to go the extra step and like help them achieve what they want, then they're gonna remember you, and they're gonna see how I can help you back. So I think it's just a very yeah, like come from that space first of how can you help someone else, and understand what they need, and then naturally they will yeah, be willing to help you back, which is a very simple answer. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I just know a lot of people struggle with that, and sometimes it's hard to find how you can help. So just
Mm.
doing a little digging around, and really
I
like
think it's
go ahead.
oh, sorry. I think it's just being a good listener and
Hmm.
understanding what someone needs. So, I would probably say, hey, I'm new to the Web3 space, but before Web3, and right now, this is what I'm doing. Would be cool to jump on a just quick 15-minute call to get to know what you're doing. You go on the call, you kind of understand what they're doing. Maybe you might, give a suggestion. Oh, in my industry we do this. I wonder, have you ever thought about doing this and in what you're doing? And they're gonna start to talk about their problems and challenges, and then you're gonna naturally use your instance to suggest more things, and you might finish the call, you might think about it and say, hey, actually I've got like another idea you could do, and then go on and just like message them again and say, hey, have you thought about this? And naturally that is gonna help build up that relationship, and then just do it again and again and again, and then you'll see the results.
Great. Yeah. I mean, that's gold. I hope people take that home. Uh, Switching gears just a tiny bit back to the consumer side, real quick, um, and a very broad question: what are some common misconceptions about blockchain you'd like to clarify?
mm, Common misconceptions about blockchain. NFTs are just JPEGs is probably the one that
It's a
I
pretty big one.
had myself.
Yeah.
And like NFT collections and stuff. I think, yeah, it's not just JPEGs, and there's a lot of different use cases towards NFTs that I encourage people to check out because it's pretty cool. Like in the gaming space, in the real world asset space. I had We did a marketing campaign for an NFT collection called Luke's Lions, and the founder is a really famous YouTuber, and he has his like community, and so him creating his NFT collection helped bring the community together, and it's yeah, it's also you know people undervalue like the power of NFTs to bring people together, I think. And if you have like a strong fan base already, NFT collections can really support in just that. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, just extra value to people where you have a really like. I think people they care about fitting in. They care about identity, right? So when we saw the whole Bored Apes NFT collection come out, or like just different really well-known collections come out, you notice that on LinkedIn, everyone's like changing their profile. I knew people who their iPhone paper was that NFT, their phone wallpaper was that NFT. They even wore like a hat that was like close to the NFT character, and so it's really interesting to see how even the NFT art space and how that like brings people together in terms of identifying with a common mission, a common value. So that is also interesting, I would say. So yeah. Anyways, there's a lot to it basically, and blockchain doesn't equal Bitcoin as well. I think when they hear blockchain and crypto, immediately they think of Bitcoin, but it's a lot more than that. And yeah, it's not just about investing as well. It's not just about finance as well. I'm kind of more interested in the the gaming space and what other stuff you can do with it. I would say just it's there's a lot to learn, and it's more interesting than you think if you look a little bit deeper. And there's a lot of different use cases as well. And the metaverse, okay, like, you know, it's a lot more advanced now, you know, especially with AI and things like that. And it's still really early as well. So I would say, you know, don't see it as like something to not pay attention to, even though it's
Mm-hmm.
early. If we look at where the world is going right now, you know, BlackRock's talking about crypto, all these big companies are talking about crypto, um, and tokenizing real world assets, AI. Just if you can look at what's happening right now in the world, you'll understand that it is important. And I realized that I'm not really answering the question directly again.
No, no, you're good. Yeah, yeah, keep it.
But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, they say that it's not good for the environment, and then you kind of want to go a bit deeper and understand what proof of stake is, what proof of work is, the different kinds of blockchains. So yeah, I would say the reason for, like, what was the word? Misconceptions, myths, is because you just look at the surface level. But if you look deeper and deeper and deeper, that's why we always use, you know, we just fall down the rabbit hole because it kind of never ends. There's always something, there's
Yeah.
always another layer. And I'm not a technical person, so I can't even get through that like really technical layer myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see from where the world is heading and what's happening right now. It's that it is, you know, important, and I know that beneath the surface there's always another layer for anything. So I would just encourage you to, you know, fall a little bit deep in the rabbit hole, a little bit deeper, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
deeper, and just see where it leads you. um so yeah.
So I remember you mentioning it. Forgive me if I make you repeat it, but you had mentioned that you had done something before your venture studio, something with NFTs. Even before getting in the Web3 space, you had mentioned that you were you left university just so you could venture more into this space because there wasn't much more to learn within the university. What got you interested? What was that tipping point, or what was that kind of intriguing value point that maybe the consumers or people watching now could realize, like, oh, maybe I should look into this.
Yeah, I think mainly it's just how I always thought that NFTs were nothing but like a JPEG, and you know Justin Bieber spent 2 million on a Bored Ape. I was like, that is absolutely ridiculous. Like, who would do that? And then I had a podcast as well. It was focusing on fintech, but then it became Web3, and then it became the community itself. It became in-person community, and it was just the one, like, it was just the one person saying, "Oh, NFTs aren't just JPEGs; they're actually helping to solve fraud in the ticketing industry." And I was like, "That's impossible! Like, what is an NFT?" So then I started doing research, and I was like, "Oh, wait, this is really interesting." And then I started to like just think to myself, "Is there any way I can?" You know, with Gary V's NFT, you can go to VCon, and I was like, but like I don't have money to, you know, afford these NFTs. So can I borrow an NFT? So I had this question, like, basically, you know, it's like, imagine just walking down the street and you have this question: Can I borrow an NFT? Can I borrow an NFT? You go to school and you're in class, you're like, can I borrow an NFT? Is there a way? How can I borrow an NFT? And then you're doing your homework, it's like, NFTs.
How do I
Why are they
borrow
so
an NFT?
expensive?
Yeah.
And then one day I was just looking, oh, can I borrow an NFT? Um, and I couldn't find and I couldn't find the platform. And there's someone who always wanted to, like, I tried a lot of different, you know, ventures. I had like a side hustle. I always was working at different startups, doing internships, and then kind of when that light bulb moment hit me, it was like a platform to borrow and then NFTs. And then it just wouldn't get out of my head. And then you realize, okay, it's affecting my studies, it's affecting like my whole life. What is my gut telling me to do? It's telling me to take a gap year and just like go all in and try to turn this idea in my head to something that's real. And that was all I needed to go and take the jump, which is a very naive decision because I did not expect where it would lead me. But it definitely taught me a lot. and and yeah, that's kind of how it started, to be honest.
Hey, no risk, no reward, right? So
Yeah,
you gotta
that's
take risks
true.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned what's an NFT, what's an NFT, the kind of question looming in your head. When you started doing that research, when you started learning, what steps did you take, or do you remember that that are let me rephrase that question. What steps did you take to start learning? I guess.
Mm, I think it's just honestly just Google. It's not really
Google.
at the
Okay.
time ChatGPT didn't exist. Now I feel like old.
Oh
At the
yeah.
time ChatGPT didn't exist.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would say like because the first thing I heard was NFTs and ticketing. Okay, that's interesting. So I started to look into just like one use case. So how can NFTs be used in ticketing? And then naturally it's like, okay, how can you NFTs be used in a different industry? Like how can it be used in real estate? How can be used in gaming? What is like
Okay.
what are smart contracts and what's the difference between you know gosh I haven't looked at the names like what's the difference between gosh yeah there are different like numbers to the tokens and I haven't
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't looked in it so long that I forgot but within an NFT you then have different kind of tokens. You've got fungible tokens, you've got non-fungible tokens, you've got the NFTs that you can rent and lend are also a different kind of tokens. You've got dynamic NFTs. It's like you've got NFTs that are non-transferable. You can't change it, and that you just kind of like yeah, I guess keep searching. So, what are the use cases of NFTs in different industries? What are the different kinds of NFTs that exist? How are like just what's similar to an NFT? Is like okay, normal crypto tokens and just kind of keep following that inner curiosity because when you have one question and you go into it, then you're going to have another question and another question and another question. So I'd say don't stop. Like, don't, yeah, just keep following that curiosity. Keep allowing yourself to fall into that rabbit hole. Keep finding the answers, and then naturally you will. If you're genuinely interested in it, you will realize that it's something that you just can't ever really stop. But if you find yourself getting bored, like me trying to know how to cook the absolute best egg omelet and I kind of lose patience after like 5 minutes, then I guess it's you're just not as interested.
Yeah,
So yeah, I would say that's just what we all want to do in life, right? Just follow the passion, the curiosity, and see where it leads.
I like that. Follow curiosity. So, how can consumers stay updated and informed within the Web3 space?
There's lots of newsletters now that you can follow. I mean, the Defiant is one that's quite good. There's a lot of YouTube channels. If you check out Luke's Lions, I forgot his main channel name, but he does 2 videos a day
Oh
on
wow.
crypto.
Okay.
There are also just people, just connect with people on LinkedIn. See if they're working in the Web3 space. Connect with them and talk to them 10 minutes. You will find out a lot of information if you're new to the space. Because what some if someone has like 10 years of experience and you can manage to get like 10 minutes of their time, they can share so much relevant stuff and or they can point you in the right direction because yeah that's also how I started as well. I jumped on a call with someone and I asked I want to learn more about the NFT space, where should I go? It was a I still work with this person. He's called Miko, and he said, "Oh, join NFT UK. NFT UK is a massive NFT community. They do events, so then I went to the first event and then went to another event and I learned more about NFTs in the space with the people there who knew more than me and yeah, that's how I got along. So yeah, I would say talk to people who are already in the space, ask them to give you directions. They'll point you towards the best sources, and just go from there.
Okay. So, you mentioned talking to people. So, from the conversations that you've been having, what kind of consumer centric trends have you been seeing within the Web3 blockchain space that seems to be emerging?
I think two. I think, like I said before, real world assets, tokenizing real assets. It's a lot of new projects are talking about it, building stuff in the space. The other thing is I'm seeing a lot of projects coming out that are about supporting investors in doing research. So, the bull run's coming, and we're seeing we're going to be seeing more money in the space, and when there's more money in the space, naturally you're going to have more interest in everyone kind of coming back into crypto because it was like money poured into the space and then there's a lot of scams, FTX crashed, and then suddenly it went like quiet and then people are like leaving the space, jumping into AI. but now we're kind of seeing it like, being a bit more alive again. So this then then I see more founders who are trying to build tools that are going to support people in knowing how to do their research, how to invest. But they're still very early, which is why I'm not like kind of name dropping any at the moment. But and I also don't know if this is relevant to your target audience with but it's the trend. It is the trend. I would say it's like, yeah, kind of tools that are helping Web 2 users in investing in crypto. Um, yeah, I think that are the two main ones that I'm noticing at the moment.
Okay, I gotcha. So, final question to wrap it up a little bit more fun. Dead or alive, two people you like to have dinner with? Anyone come to mind?
Honestly, I didn't think about this one. I haven't seen my boyfriend for like a few weeks, so I want to have dinner with my
Dinner
boyfriend.
with the boyfriend, yeah. Yeah.
um, and the second one would be I want to have dinner with myself because I think the most important relationship for anyone is a relationship you have with yourself, and I think that most people don't take the time to like learn more about themselves, understand themselves, and talk to themselves. I think we talk to a lot of people, and we never kind of, well, some people are really good at it. That's something I need to work on. Is just kind of be in Zen mode and quiet mode, and just like talk to myself and understand what are the things that I need to get better at and like learn from, or like any new realizations lately. So yeah, probably not not the answers that you were expecting, but I would say those are
I
the
know.
two
I
that
didn't
I can
expect you to go
immediately
so
think
deep
of.
on me already. I didn't expect you to just, a little therapy session over here. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Presence, that's all the questions I got for you today. Anything you want to give any final thoughts to the people? Anything?
Um, First off, I really appreciate you for letting me talk today. I really enjoy the podcast, and I hope
It's
that
my
I added
pleasure. Yeah.
value to everyone listening. And my LinkedIn is open for anyone to connect with. If you guys have any specific questions, like feel free to let me know. If you're a wannabe entrepreneur and looking into building in the space, then of course I'm also open to talk because as someone who never thought that she could ever be an entrepreneur and always had doubts, I understand that it takes courage and it takes kind of, you know, other people to help you when it comes to your own entrepreneurial journey. And you never know, who, like, I'll talk to someone on the street, they'll be working a 9 to 5 and they'll say, my dream is to start my own business, but they're too scared to do it. So that was me as well. And it took a long time to finally take the risk. And I just hope that everyone's living the life that they truly want to live. So if they're not, then, just yeah, my DMs are open if it's about Web3 and tech and entrepreneurship.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, yeah, this has been Presence Plumb. My name is Tan My All. This is All Access. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.